So I do not believe in having it all in the conventional sense. I think that when we use the terminology for women to have it all, we are putting unnecessary burden on women, where women now start to believe that they simultaneously need to be perfect in every situation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Inspire Her podcast, where we engage with powerful women making strides in their career while navigating the complexities of womanhood, mental health, and leadership. And so today we have an episode that promises to be inspiring and empowering. Our special guest is Oladoyin Idowu, an incredible woman with a remarkable career and a strong advocate for mental health and personal growth. And as you already know, our sub-series focuses on mid to late career female professionals and the key decisions they've made in their lives today. And so today's topic, we're diving into the title of you can have a thriving career and a thriving mental health, becoming the Inspire Her woman. So thank you so much, Oladoyin, for joining us today. And so before we start today's conversation, I just like to briefly introduce Oladoyin. I do hope, I do justice to the woman that she is. So Oladoyin is a mental health professional and the founder of One Word Africa Foundation. She holds a BSc in psychology from Redeemers University, Nigeria, and is a graduate member of the British Psychological Society. With over 7 years of experience advocating for dyslexia and neurodiversity, Oladoyin has trained thousands of educators and parents on effective management and support for learning differences. Her expertise spans psychological first aid, cognitive behavioral therapy, trauma-informed care, business development, and leadership. Very well-rounded, right? Oladoyin's work has been featured in documentaries by BBC Africa and filmmakers James Amuta, and she has contributed to publications such as What I Need, and Black Brilliance and Dyslexic. She has also been recognized by the United Nations Academic Impact for her contributions. And so currently, Oladoyin serves as the head of operations at Serenity Nigeria, where she continues to advance mental well-being initiatives. Her commitment to expanding therapeutic interventions and promoting inclusive education has made a significant impact both locally and globally. Such a very powerful bio, and we're just getting started, honestly. So I'm interested. So I'm really looking forward to see how this bio will advance in the coming years. And so once again, thank you so much, Oladoyin, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Bolanle, for having me. I'm excited to be here. Looking forward to this conversation.
All right, so let's get started. From the title, like I already said, this is going to be laid back lifestyle, nothing too serious. We just like to really share how you've been maneuvering, thriving life, and mental health generally. Per yourself and even for the people that you also help.
Okay.
And so generally there's a lot of pressure on women, especially those who are already thriving or who are striving for professional success to somehow have it all.
Yeah.
The life, the career, the perfect home, great relationship, and impeccable mental health, right? Can you imagine? Only one person.
One person.
Right?
I know.
So in your experience, what do you think that actually looks like? What do you think having all that, what do you think it looks like? And how do you respond to that kind of pressure?
Okay. So I do not believe in having it all in the conventional sense. I think that when we use the terminology for women to have it all, we are putting unnecessary burden on women, where women now start to believe that they simultaneously need to be perfect in every situation. It is impossible. What I, however, would say is that, as women, we should have the level of self-awareness and the knowledge of self to the point of what we want to achieve career-wise, family-wise, and amongst other things, and learn to prioritize per time. So for me personally, in all of the domains that are important to me, advocacy, my mental health, family, and all that, sometimes something takes the center stage, sometimes something takes the backstage. But I know the things that are important to me. I have a clear roadmap as to what I'm trying to achieve. So per time, I do what I can, and I give myself the grace. I take care of myself. And so I don't think you should put unnecessary burden on yourself to have it all. But yes, you can thrive in all the things that are important to you. I think that's what you should focus on. Focus on growth, daily growing in all the areas and improving in all the areas that concern to you. So that's what I would advise any fellow female that is trying to have it all in quotes.
I like the fact that you mentioned two things, prioritizing and grace. I mean, it just goes to show that at the end of the day, to really make anything out of yourself or achieve any type of growth, you really need to be able to put down what exactly it is you want to achieve in the first place. And so with that kind of level of awareness and knowing what you want, then it's easier to tick the box when you get there or know what that looks like relatively to other people. And of course, grace. Sometimes you get there, sometimes you take a step back. Don't be hard on yourself.
Don't be hard on yourself.
So thank you for sharing that. And just feeding into what you've said, right? Many women are often told that, the cost of having a thriving career or thriving family or whatever comes at the cost of mental well-being. And now, so I put, as opposed to even having everything all together, what this is saying is that, Auntie, if you decide that you want to have a career, just forget your mental health is going to be scattered all over the place. Forget peace of mind. That's not something you've already sacrificed that, you know. And so how have you been able to challenge this narrative, especially being a mental health advocate and having a thriving career? How have you been able to challenge that?
I will speak to the myth of mental health. Whenever we talk about mental health, people think it's an overwhelming activity that should be done. Mental health is in the simple things. It's in identifying the things that you like, the things that you enjoy. When you do things that you enjoy, it will bring you immediate joy, right? So it's in the simple things. It's in simple adjustment that you make to yourself. It's in prioritizing sleep. It's in eating healthy. All of these things have, like eating healthy, for instance, if you break down the science of eating healthy, you see how it connects to happy hormones, really. You see how it also helps your physical health and it keeps you away from the hospital. Everything is interconnected, right? So if you have a thriving career, or you're striving to have a thriving career, striving to have a balance with family and all that attention that you're putting into those, you can also put it into taking care of yourself. Looking good, would make you feel good. So you can just make just very simple little adjustment to your day-to-day life, just so that you can keep yourself centered. Another thing that can help you is the community. When you lean on community, I don't think that you should do everything by yourself. You should have a community of people that love you, care for you, and will be there for you. That those would also help you know that it's okay to step back sometimes and relax. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's still what I will continue to preach, and just find things around you that can bring you immediate satisfaction, happiness. Relaxation is very important. Sleep, sleep. Sleep.
I could. I mean, that made a lot of sense, if we're being honest, because like you actually rightly said, doing the little things for yourself has a way of turning around your emotions and just not neglecting the small stuff. That's one thing I've taken out. Don't neglect the small stuff. And so, talking about actual challenges, like genuine challenges, how that looks like, working in a high pressure environment while maintaining your mental health, working in perhaps a toxic environment, genuine challenges that a lot of us go through. What are some of the biggest mental health challenges that you have faced in your career, and how did you overcome them?
I would say that I wanted to say the word that I've been lucky, but that's not true. I've just entered my career with a lot of self-awareness that I know how to set boundaries. So setting boundaries has protected me a lot from toxicities. So oftentimes the kind of toxicity that people like myself would face would be things like sexual harassment from the opposite sex. Men who think that they can neglect the brain that you carry and size you up based on what your physical features. I've never had a toxic boss in all of my experience working, because I entered into the working space leading my own organization, and then when I pivoted into working for someone else, it happened to be someone who is amazing, right? And I still work with her to date. But boundaries is still very important, is what I would say. So I know when to say no. I don't take on more than myself. I work within what's in my work contract. And so those are the places where I have my power. So I would not accept a job and job expectations or roles that I know I cannot fulfill. So in accepting roles that I can fulfill, in executing them, I stick to the things within my power. So I don't let people push me into what I know I won't be comfortable doing. If I'm going to do anything, something within my scope. So I learn to say no. Set boundaries. And then I also learn to be kind to myself. Being kind to yourself is very important as well. And in cases where, in the occasions where you face issues like sexual assault, boundaries still. I think I'm just reoccurring the word boundary. Boundary is really what I use in my line of work. Yes, and I practice what I preach. When I tell you to take care of your mental health, it starts from me as well. I can't pour out of an empty tank. So.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, and I like the fact that you've already mentioned boundaries. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. You need to know your hard limits, your small limits. And some people know their hard limits. Some people don't know their, hard limits. Some people have difficulties accepting themselves and saying this word no, right?
Yeah.
It's
I think another thing I would speak to is I just reflected immediately now, and it seems as though I'm speaking from a place of perfection. What I try to do, however, is let people connect to the fact that I'm human, and I didn't get here overnight. It's been a process. So there was a time that this Doyin that is speaking to you right now was timid, had assertiveness issues and things like that. In that period, I would not say that I could have even given you an advice on how to protect your mental health. So what I did in this period was I identified my weaknesses, and I put a lot of focus into self-development. I invested in things that would boost my confidence. I invested in hobbies. I invested in, gaps that I felt like I had in personality. So that is what has helped me to grow into this person now, that I can say no. Saying no or putting boundaries in place in the workplace requires for you to also have some level of skill set where because sometimes people are scared that they can just be replaced if they say no. So there is some level of skill set that you would have. There's some level of personal development that you've done for yourself that just keeps you at rest in certain situations. So when I say no, it's not I'm saying no to the duty that you employed me for. It's I'm saying no to the things that I'm not comfortable with. Again, I would not accept a job that the description doesn't work for me. But so far that I accept a job, those are the times where there's interview and looking at your contract. But the point that I say, yes, I would do this, it means that it works, it aligns with the things that I like and the things I'm comfortable with. Now, in the course of doing it where personality clash and human beings are being human beings, I can now then say no. And it's come to a level of self-awareness that has caused me to be able to assertively tell you, I can't do this. I won't be comfortable. I won't betray myself just to make, somebody else comfortable.
Yeah, that's honestly what I was going to even follow up with, like some of the practical things that we can do to become that assertive and know when to actually say no. And even in times where we have said yes, we can't change our decisions, right? People need to be aware of the fact that you can have said yes, and in the long run, it no longer works for you. You need to be able to voice that out and put that out there. So I think that's an important thing that we, especially as women, generally as human beings, but especially as women, we need to be able to say that yeah, this was me before, but in the process of growth, this is what I've realized, and this is how I've changed, and that is okay. That's fine. So yeah, thank you for giving us that practical advice. I really do hope that people take out their time, even if it's by reading, by learning, by even watching YouTube, by listening to podcasts like this, right? And learning how that they can better themselves. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have the career and all that to be able to say, this is who I am and this is what I bring to the table. You can be starting off your career and allow room to experiment in some areas, but along the line you start learning that this is what I can do, and this is what I can learn to do, and this is what I don't want to do at all. This is what I have no business doing. So thank you so much for putting that into perspective, right? And so at Inspire Her Africa, we encourage women to step into their full potential, to lead, to grow, to inspire others along the way, to carry other women along the way. And so we'd like to ask, in your view, what you think or what you believe it means to be an Inspire Her woman. How do we as women become that figure of inspiration while keeping ourselves authentic, down to earth?
For me, I've had such an interesting career path. I entered into this career path due to personal struggles. So what I do is that I ensure to share the vulnerability of and the realities of what it means to have come from point A that I was to point B, and how I'm heading towards point C. That puts some level of helping people relate to the fact that you don't have to be perfect, and that you can be a work in progress and still thrive, right? So that's what I would describe as someone who is inspiring the other, the next person. Everybody is a work in progress, and it's okay to be. It's not okay when you comfortably sit in a particular position that you're not happy about, but as long as you get up every day and you do something new that helps you get closer to what you're trying to achieve, that's okay. And in all of this, I try to, anytime any young lady or any young person come to me as well, as much as I'm in a good place here, I never forget to acknowledge where I've come from, so that you don't think that you have to be where I'm at the moment. It's okay, just start from point A. That's really what I say. I try to make it as basic as possible so that it is relatable, and nothing is as relatable as my story. I've come from a point where I struggled, and I'm still at the point where I'm thriving, right? I'm growing. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. And that's okay. That
really is okay. And I like the fact that it's a continuous journey, it's a continuous process. What major thing I believe I'm getting, and what I think a lot of people should be taking from this, is an inspired woman is someone who shows up for herself, shows up where she needs to show up, really. And it's okay to take a rest. It's okay to rest, but then you still need to make sure that you
taking a rest is also showing up for
yourself. This is
also
showing up for yourself. So showing up every day. If you want to be inspired, just show up every day in the little ways you believe you can show up, and keep doing it continuously. And if you would definitely inspire someone and become the inspiring women we want you to be, and we ourselves, right, are trying to be. And so it sounds like along your career process and your mental health advocacy, you've mentored a lot of young women, men inclusive, but perhaps more young women, right? And so what advice would you have for young professionals who are just starting their careers and already feeling overwhelmed? It's already scary. It's already looking daunting for them in the balancing act of success, mental health, well-being, relationship, all that jazz.
Okay. For me, I always like to over-prepare. For someone like me who has struggled with imposter syndrome, one of the things that kills imposter syndrome is when you over-prepare. Now, when you over-prepare in terms of when you want to take a job in a particular area, you hamper yourself with skill sets that would help you thrive in that job. So for a day when imposter syndrome is asking me, can you do this? I can answer the voice in my head with facts that yes, I can do this because I'm skilled in this, I'm skilled in that, so I should, I'm able to do that. So prepare. Always be on a continuous learning journey. I'm always up to something in trying to develop myself. Personal development is something. Cognitive development is something. So that's what I would advise. A young emerging person who is striving. I would tell you that look for skills that would help the work that you do. Do not limit it to a degree, a BSc or a master's, so to speak. Look for skills that would also help you thrive. I tell younger people these things. For instance, two of us have a BSc degree. What would make you stand out? What would make them pick you over the other person? It would be that you've gone ahead to develop some other soft skills or technical skills that just adds up to that BSc degree that you already have. So that's what I would say. I would say that upskill yourself as much as you can. That would even help you have the audacity to approach other opportunities, and that would also help you to also draw boundaries, because then you're not jumping at every opportunity that you see, whether or not they align to you, because you have already made yourself a powerhouse of some sort that is a lot easier to now navigate the different opportunities. You have a niche for yourself even when you're trying to grow your career. So yeah, that's what I would really say. And I'm talking career, but I'm also talking personal self. And personal self is very important. You can never pour out of an empty tank. Burnout is a thing. If you push and push and push, you forget yourself. You get to the point that your body cannot physically push anymore. It's connected. You would literally feel somatic symptoms when you push and you neglect yourself. Depression, all of these things, and the cost of remediation for mental health conditions is a lot more expensive than when you do the little things to prevent it, from the beginning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the saying does go, prevention is definitely better than cure.
I say prevention is cheaper.
True.
Than cure.
It is cheaper. It's definitely cheaper. And I like the fact that you always reiterate that at the end of the day, it's, to have a certain level of audacity requires a certain level of knowledge.
Yep.
And sometimes when we ask ourselves, who gave this person the audacity? It's because the person has gone to power themselves with either knowledge or network or something, or even finances, and that's why they have the audacity. And so if you want audacity, then go search for the knowledge and stand somewhere. I'm like, okay, yes, I know my stuff about this. And the irony is, it doesn't even just have to be in a professional sense. You can read self-help books, you can read emotional intelligence books, you can read books that just make you confident and better in your relationship and all that. So thank you so much again for sharing that insight. I know that we have been talking a lot about challenges. I mean, you're putting a lot of solutions out there too as well, but I think it's also important that we give people some at least self-care strategies and practices that have helped you and you really can also help them thrive both personally and professionally. Like just little things. Some people do journaling, some people, but just things that you have done, tested, trusted, and approved that you have done, and that has helped you, and ways people to can find out like things that okay, so what can I do that maybe you're not necessarily doing but is also said to help, right? And how do they even carve out the time for all these things?
Okay. So for me, one of the first things that I've done and I'm still doing is I have gone out of my way to develop hobbies. So learning to swim, learning a new language, and in doing some of these things, you're also building community, because I have people where I'm learning to swim, I have people where I'm learning French, I have people in different pockets and different things that I'm trying to do. So that's in a way also helping myself build community while also developing an hobby. And with hobbies just add to what you already are. Like it just adds like facets to you. It makes you feel good already that you can do them, and it's just nice, right? So those are some of the things that I do, and one of the reasons why I decided to embark on even identifying and learning hobbies is because it came to a time that I took stock of life, and it was as though everything I was doing was work related. So now I'm doing that. I'm also identifying some things that I would have loved to do as a child that I couldn't do, and now I'm healing my childhood as well. All of these things again is to just spike my happy hormones, just create balance for myself, so that now that I'm learning Orbis, whenever there is work, and then there's also time for me to do relaxing things that, just help me relax, because relaxing is a very important thing. Another thing that I would also say is a community of support is very important. That's another thing that I have myself with. But the simple day-to-day routine of self-care is watching what you eat. I'm not 100% on that. Sometimes I indulge, to be fair, but I watch what I eat, very big on that. Exercises as well. Physical exercises also helps a lot. It has a lot of psychological benefits to you when you move. You don't even need to go to the gym. You can just take a walk sometimes, and it helps. So I do yoga sometimes. Not consistent, again, I must say. Again, I'm trying not to preach.
Okay.
I'm trying not to pitch perfection. Hence why I'm, reiterating that I'm not consistent. But if you can be better consistent than I am, amazing. So physical exercises would help a lot. Watching what you eat will help a lot. I believe so much also meditation, just breathing exercises as well. This also helps you in times when you're under immense level of stress. You take your time to take a deep breath so that you can now be centered and re-articulate your thought and navigate, whatever difficult situation that you're in. So those are like some simple mental health practices that you can do. Self-care is also very important. Take days to do your skincare, take days to go and have a massage, things that just make you physically, visibly look good and also emotionally feel better. Those are some of the things that I would recommend.
Yeah, and how would you say you are able to find the time to do this? Because I imagine the women the woman that we're all trying to aspire to be sounds like a very busy woman. Unfortunately, it would be nice if they were not so busy.
Yeah. So how do you find time to do this? Is discipline. Sometimes you need to, when you're creating a week schedule, for instance, while you're putting the schedule of meeting 1, meeting 2. Put yourself in your schedule as well, because you're important. You're very, very important. Sometimes, however, in being realistic, I have weeks like that where that's me in my agenda is impossible. So, but what I do in periods like that is I indulge in self-care. So I can come back home from a long day and choose to have a long bath. So I'm, taking a bit soak, doing my own skincare at home where I'm exfoliating and using a sheet mask, just some things, lighting a candle, having, a nice bottle of wine, just caring for yourself. It's like romance with yourself. It's like when you're dating someone, you're going all out to make the person feel good. Do some of those things for yourself as well. Those are the things. So if you cannot practically carve time out or, in your schedule during the week, you can come back home after a long day and just indulge. And by practice, I also make like Saturday a self-care day. So as much as possible, I try to keep my Saturday free. Impossible sometimes, but as much as possible, so that I am intentional. Really, that's the word, intentional, about ensuring that there are days that is for me. And I don't feel guilty on those days. That
makes absolute sense. I mean, at the end of the day, people talk about if somebody's important to you, if a relationship is important to you, you would find time. If you're important to yourself, you would find time. That's the truth at the end of the day. Because as much as you're working hard, you're sacrificing yourself for some of those things. And you shouldn't be necessarily sacrificing yourself, or sacrifices should be made consciously and intentionally, and not a situation where you just say you want to make all the money in the world and yourself suffers. So thank you for sharing that. I really hope people can take the advice that as much as you're trying to become this better person, make more money, do this, do that, you yourself have to be in a place and a mindset where you are well taken care of, and that's really the only way you can take care of every other thing around you. Again, thank you so much, Doreen, for your time, your opinion, your ideas, your tips, sharing insights about your life with us, because I know that these things, these progresses were not easy to achieve, and I'm glad that you're taking the time to really share that with people. And so as we come to a close, I just want to ask, what's that one piece of advice you want to give to every woman, perhaps man, because I'm sure men need to listen to this as well. It's very important for them, right? So what's that one piece of advice you want to give to everyone listening today, especially those who want to have both a fulfilling career and maintain their mental health?
Okay. Those that want to have a fulfilling career and maintain their mental health, I think I would just reiterate what I've been saying, which would be that you need to actually go out of your way and develop a actual self-care routine. When you have a self-care routine, it is easy to include it into your agenda of the week or for the month, so you know what days are carved out for yourself. That would do so much good to your mental health. And when your mental health is thriving, is easy to pour out into your career. It's going to reflect even in your relationship with other people and relationship with family. So that's what I would say. And then you don't have to be hard on yourself, be on that continuous growth, that continuous journey to, achieving progress.
Yeah.
Be a work in progress. Oh, that's the word I'm trying to say. Yeah. It's okay to be a work in progress.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So that's my advice. It's okay to be a work in progress.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's something we all can accept, that perfection really biblically it's not there universally. I can't imagine there's any religion or spirituality that preaches perfection in a complete, self. Everyone is in a progress, in a journey, and then it's important we also accept that, right? And thank you so much for giving us those practical advice, those practical tips. Thank you so much for your wisdom. There's been a lot of wisdom that has been shared today, and I'm pretty sure that our listeners have been blessed by it, have taken so much away from this episode as I have just listening to you, right? And I don't know if you want to just share us a bit of where you can be found online for where you like people to reach out to you, follow your work. Perhaps even if it's to get some one-on-one conversations with you, or if you offer therapy or any sort of consultation online.
Okay, just so that I don't end up giving all of my social media details, you can easily find me on One Word Africa on every platform. That's one word, WORD, not all wide world. So One Word Africa, ONEWORD Africa on every social media platforms. And I'm Oladoyin Idowu on LinkedIn. There's a way you can find me in those places. Do we offer therapy? Yes, we offer one-on-one therapy and consultation sessions. Just find me on those platforms first, and we'll go from there.
All right, then. So everyone, you've heard the places you can reach out to her, and of course, look at the things that she's about, ways that you can be inspired by what she does. Also send her more questions if there are any questions that I've not been able to respond to, and of course be aware that she has boundaries, so don't go there doing weird things. Don't go there doing weird things now. But thank you so much Oladoyin, for your time. That wraps up another empowering episode of Inspire Her podcast. And I want everyone to just remember that you can have a thriving career and still protect your mental health. Now, do you need to have it all? Do you need to have everything in the perfect space, at the perfect time? Probably not. Probably would happen the way you want it to be, but it's important that you actually take out the time to map out the things you do want to achieve per these areas. What kind of business person do you want to be? What kind of relational person do you want to be? How do you want to be with your kids? How do you want to be your spouse? How do you want to be with yourself, right? Because that's where mental health comes into place. And if you have all these boxes, then you can start to check them one by one. Different times you prioritize one thing over the other, and accept that, okay, I'm a work in progress, and I've ticked 2 out of 5 this year. I might have wanted to take all 5, but 2 is pretty good too. 2 is pretty good too. It's not on 0, right? And even if you happen to be on 0, acknowledging the fact that, okay, I've not made the progress I want to make, and there are things that I need to do, is a sort of progress in its own, because you need to be able to be honest with yourself. Honesty is an important thing. So that's all the advice I think you need for today. We will definitely come with you with definitely more with other speakers. And until next time, you can follow us. Our page remains the same. You can send us an email to inspireherafrica.com. You can also check out our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter page. And so until next time, stay inspired and ensure to take care of yourself. As per we usually like to do, we like for each guest to leave a question for the next guest. It can be in any area. It doesn't even have to be in the conversation we just had. It could be professionally, just a random question you've been curious about that you always wanted to ask somebody else. Very random. And we'll ask it to the next guest on their own show. On the show.
Wow, that's hard.
Any random question. It could be life it could be life related. It could be how they do certain stuff. It could be what they think about a certain thing.
Okay. I think I've always been curious about how people make gbegiri. So share me a gbegiri recipe.
A recipe.
Next speaker.
Right. Okay. I'll be sure to save that question for the next speaker. So thank you everyone, and thank you Oladoye. Do take care. Bye guys.
So much.
See you guys next time. Until then, stay inspired and take care of yourself. All right.